guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today I'm going to talk, this is the gentleman. I'm going to try to avoid using his names. I do not like to give these guys the popularity and or web searches and or attention that for doing what they've done, because a lot of times that's why they've done it. Although in this case, I don't think that's the case. It seems that this guy from high school was bullied by women and by the popular girls and by the pretty girls. And he grew up with a very dark, twisted view of the world. And then when he got to a place where he decided to exact revenge, he found women that were similar to the ones that gave him a hard time. And he ended their lives. There was 4 of them. And this is, I guess, this happened in Ohio. I'm going to dance around words a little bit because I do want this story to go out on YouTube, because it's important to know that a lot of guys, they don't go to the end that this guy did and start whacking people because he was so upset at them. But I think this happens more and more, where they say, hey, you know what, making fun of other people is bad and putting people down is bad and shaming people is bad. Yet that only goes one way. That only goes towards women. Because if you're a guy, I mean, women will, one of the first things they jump out and make fun of a guy is his, trouser snake. I mean, even Greta Thunberg did it to Andrew Tate, and it was cheered and lauded. But if a man had made fun of a woman's hips or butt or weight or chest, he would have been shredded for that, no matter who it was. No matter who it was. So it's a one-way street, and I'm so tired of it. And that's why I talk about this stuff, because I want you to guys, I know you recognize it's a one-way street, but I also want you to understand society doesn't care. And so to be upset and to let that, make you angry, and you got to just let that stuff go, because it's not going to change. Just like men like women that are thin and usually thin and attractive and pretty and young and low body count, that is going to be a constant. Well, society not caring about men is going to be a constant. You're not going to change that. So you just need to come to terms with it and move on. Anyway, this is from the express.uk. Girls made fun of him. And again, I have to skip some of these words because, there's so many words that YouTube has filters on, and I know it makes it tricky, and that's why my reading sometimes screwed up. But I don't have a popular enough news channel. I have a representative that I can argue about and get this corrected. But they gave him a hard time. By popular click, says ex-cheerleader. So this guy that went out and ended these Ohio girls, this middle school crush, or his middle school crush, has been interviewed by FBI agents in hopes of piecing together his psyche. They say he currently stands accused of ending the lives of 4 Idaho college students. Idaho, not Iowa, or wherever else, Ohio, or whatever I said. It's Idaho college students. He's having his life inspected by FBI agents. The 28-year-old PhD student's middle school crush, Kim Kennelly, has been interviewed by the Bureau to shed light on his personality. The two had attended Pleasant Valley Intermediate School in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, when he made weird comments, according to her mother, Sandra. She told DailyMail.com he would always say, "Oh, Kim, I think you're very pretty." Just like weird comments. And she'd say, "Oh my God, leave me alone." Now, obviously, this guy has some mental issues. I mean, obviously, because usually when you talk to somebody, and whether you say something complimentary or rude, and they say, "Leave me alone," most people, especially middle schoolers or high schoolers, are going to kind of get the idea to leave that person alone. But he obviously didn't. And so often he'd say, "I think you're very pretty." And again, these are young kids, so she didn't have the wherewithal to say, "Oh, thank you, but I'm just not interested," or whatever. Kids are going to be kids. But they didn't seem to have a problem when these people were making fun of him. But had he been making fun of other people, there would have been a problem. We know this. They go on to say she did not give him the time of day. When kids are little, they're mean. They don't say, "Oh my God, thank you." But no, yeah, little kids are mean. But again, haven't we been having this, for the last 10 years of these, classes and hey, don't Don't be mean to people. Don't do this to people. Well, they didn't do it for him. They said while former classmates revealed he was bullied by popular students. An unnamed classmate said the whole clique of popular girls made fun of him in school. They were the cheerleaders and the ones that every kid has crushes on. They literally mentally and physically gave him a hard time. Girls started making fun of him in middle school. But he turned aggressive after taking up boxing and losing weight. They said he was a totally different person. He worked out constantly and was super aggressive, the male friend said. He had a short fuse and was constantly trying to change his style and personality to fit in with the cliques. So here you've got an overweight kid, not attractive, not desirable by anybody. He gets made fun of. And, I've said this many times, bringing shaming back is not necessarily a bad thing. But the shaming has to come from a place of actually caring for the other person, I think. Or at least having their best interests, and I think that's the difference between if somebody's overweight and you just call them a fat ass and say disparaging things to them. Yeah, they might lose weight, but they also might get an eating disorder. They might get pretty messed up. But if you come from a place of, hey, let's stop telling all these people they're attractive, they're hurting themselves, they're becoming obese, they're likely to have heart attacks and die, and we don't want that for a healthy society. We should stop that. I think there's a difference. I think that's coming. Now, you're shaming them a little bit, but you're trying to come from a place of well-meaning. These girls weren't coming from a place of well-meaning. They were hard on him, and while it did get him to get in shape and lose weight, which is a good thing, it also made him nasty and mean, and he wanted revenge on these people, these girls specifically, and eventually he got it. But he was trying to mold himself to be desirable to these women, to be interesting to them. But he took it to a dark place, obviously, and this can happen. This can happen, especially when young men do not have positive role models in their lives, like Jordan Peterson, like other content creators that say, hey, look, I know you're angry, but let go of it. Ignore it, better yourself, and make them jealous, make them wish they could be with you. Instead, he took it as, I'm going to make myself somebody they want, and I'm going to show them, and I'm going to hurt them, and I'm going to take it to them, and that's what he did. A third classmate noted, it's interesting to me that the girls he's accused of ending were nice-looking and seemingly popular, much like the ones that made fun of him throughout his childhood. He'll have a preliminary hearing in late June when prosecutors will try to show a judge that they have enough evidence to justify the charges. He waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing during a status conference on Thursday morning. So I'm kind of following this story. I'm interested to see where it goes, but like all things, it seems to me that today and for a while now, for a long while, it's okay to be mean to boys. It's okay to make fun of them. It's okay to put them down. Same thing I was talking about in the other video I did today, named Velma. And I'll probably put these two videos together actually on local, so you guys can watch them all in one stream. It's the same thing. We've gotten into this culture where it's fine to make fun of men, and it's fine to put them down, and it's fine to make fun of their endowments in their pants, even though that's something they can't control. But when a guy gets frustrated, not this frustrated, but when a guy gets frustrated and claps back a little bit or says something back, they're shamed for it, or they're put down for it, or they're told they can't do that. You can't have an uneven society. You just can't. Because people can see the disparities, and they're going to start pushing back, fighting back, voting back, punching back. Something's going to happen. And I think in all actuality, I think that's kind of the goal of the oligarchies and the upper-ups. I think they just want to keep us fighting like 5 different ant tribes all in one big pile fighting each other, because that allows them to, they say, okay, they're busy doing their thing. That allows us to focus on what we want to do with the world and how we want to take away freedoms and rights and control the masses. And there's nobody to speak out against it because they're so busy fighting amongst themselves. And, I can only do so many stories and so much on that topic. But just understand that as much as we're going to make fun of these stupid movies and programs pushing down men and everything else, it's meant to make you angry. And just because we talk about it, and just because I highlight it in videos, and just because we decide that this is a thing we need to talk about, it doesn't mean you should get distracted. Not from the high interest rates, not to maybe a financial collapse, not from your well-being, not what's the bad things going on in marriage and the laws that are coming out against, society and how they're trying to take control. That's really where to keep your eye on the prize, because that's what's going on. This is just fun distraction as we wait around for the eventual collapse.